Good day, viewers and listeners, and welcome to the Progress Report. In this episode, we will hear from the High Commissioner of the United Kingdom to Guyana, Her Excellency Jane Miller. High Commissioner Miller is in charge of investment between her homeland and Guyana. High Commissioner, welcome to the Progress Report.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
How convinced are UK investors in investing in Guyana?
Well, I mean, it's a super exciting time to be in Guyana. It's the fastest growing economy in the world, and in terms of encouraging people to come here, the statistics speak for itself. I think people are just beginning to hear about Guyana. I think many people had maybe heard about it in some geography lesson, but really didn't know much about it. Now Guyana is on the global stage. So Guyana is selling itself with its economic growth. Its people are amazing, it's very welcoming. So I think the opportunities are huge. And I think, as you say, while much of the growth is happening because of the oil and gas, the growth areas are way beyond that. So we have been going to British businesses and encouraging them to work in a whole range of sectors, including food security, including innovation and research and development, food and drink. There are so many opportunities in this rapidly growing economy.
How can some of the UK's ingenuity help Guyana to propel its development trajectory?
It's a really good question. I think in my mind there's two particular areas. One is in terms of the academia, and the other ways which we contribute potentially to businesses. So in academia, we have world-class academic institutions. They're famous around the world. And that has been a major offer that Guyana has been utilising for many years. We have many people that have been through universities across the UK, all the training programs. But then it's also about how we can bring academia to Guyana to look at how we can help accelerate the growth or look at new ways of doing things. So, for example, we've been bringing some drone technology. There's a company called Taxo that has been doing some work looking at how it can be more efficient use of agricultural inputs. So, for example, they can look across a field and they can say this part of the field needs more magnesium, but this part needs water. So your agricultural inputs are much more efficiently used. Or you can use drone technology to look at engineering, working out where needs better maintenance or where needs to be replaced. So that type of drone technology. There's also academic institutions who are working with the University of Exeter at the moment looking to do some work on prawn aquaculture. We have a company that's just started working here called Concrete Canvas, and they have something that looks like a carpet. You roll it out and put water on it and it becomes hard, which is concrete. So you can use it for drainage, you can use it for all sorts of agriculture and engineering and infrastructure type thing. So it's innovation. It means you use less concrete. It's very good value for money and it's very quick. So there's many areas where we can bring in innovation or research and development. And I think for me it's those two areas. Firstly, in terms of how we can propel innovation in the development of the country, and the other is about the human capital, about how we can use the academic institutions to support Guyana. There's no question that Guyana could increase its productivity by using more innovation and technology. And some of that can also be used by subsistence farmers. It doesn't have to be the huge commercial people that are using that technology. We have experience around the world of people using better rice varieties, and that can be just at the subsistence level, and they end up with greater yields. But if Guyana's going to really contribute towards the 25 by 25 across the whole Caribbean, it's going to be about scale. And so it is going to be how we can bring in some of the commercial agricultural techniques that's really going to propel Guyana. So yes, the UK has a lot to tell. Okay, so one example is that the UK is bringing in a company in the next few weeks that does biostimulants, a way in which we can increase productivity with a relatively simple, with a relatively value for money input. So yeah, there's lots of ways in which the UK can bring technology to improve Guyana's productivity.
So we're talking about these investors coming. So the most important question is, the mix of incentives offered by the government of Guyana, is it lucrative enough for these investors now who wants to come to Guyana?
I mean, the big incentive is the economic growth. I mean, it's incredible. And I would say another huge incentive are the people. So when people come here, we've had 2 trade missions come here in the last year. And people come here a little bit nervous, not really knowing what they're coming to. And they come here and the warmth and the access and the opportunities speak for themselves. So the incentives are huge for people to come here because the opportunities are here. I was just speaking to one of my colleagues recently who was saying of our trade missions, 50% of all those businesses have come in and have either set up a business or started investment, have started a partnership here, or have actually started working here in some way. Half of all, that's quite a high record, so I think it speaks for itself. And then the UK provides incentives as well. So we have UK export finance. We have £750 million available for people to, as our risk appetite, how much resources we have available potentially for export finance. This will be people's ability to be able to borrow on the commercial market at the same rate as the UK would be able to borrow. So it's very, very competitive rates. So we can provide those incentives. Another incentive is my amazing team at our Department for Business and Trade that can provide support to people as they land in the country, help them find the right people, find the right partners, have the right meetings. And now we have a British Chamber of Commerce. Again, another way in which we can support those businesses coming in.
Why is it, in your opinion, a good time to invest in Guyana?
It's a good time to invest here because of the massive opportunities. The economic growth, you just have to drive around Georgetown to see all the opportunities, whether it be in engineering as you're coming in from the airport, you see all those businesses growing up, all the building and infrastructure is happening, new roads, new bridges, new drainage, agriculture, ecotourism, food and drinks, hospitality. I could go on and on. There are so many opportunities.
As you know, Prime Minister Sunak administration recently granted license on expanding energy policy. Guyana has been criticized and credited all at the same time for its fossil fuel development, but the government has been very strong and has been very forward in why it needs to go in this direction and what it is counteracting that with, such as carbon credits, maintaining forest cover. As a country that has had so much history at doing this and making sure that the people at the end of the day are the beneficiary, how else do you think that we can convince people that we are on the right path to explore our natural resources while remaining carbon neutral?
Oh, a very complicated question. I mean, just in terms of the UK, even with the new licenses that are going on, we are still reducing our total production of oil and gas by 7% year on year, even with the new licenses. And the UK is very committed to our carbon targets in terms of reducing our total emissions, and we're well on track to be meeting our overall commitments, and we're encouraging the rest of the world to do the same. For Guyana, I think the most important thing is that those resources that come in from the oil and gas are used to develop a long-term sustainable economy, an economy that is vibrant when the world's thirst for oil and gas is gone, that is left behind with a vibrant economy. And so the key thing for Guyana is to diversify, and that's exactly as you say the President is doing. You know, it's not just about oil and gas. It's about agriculture, it's about innovation, it's about all the sort of manufacturing, all the IT, ecotourism. So how do we make sure that Guyana diversifies its economy? And that's absolutely critical. So I think a lesson from the UK is about diversification and making sure that those benefits don't just accrue to the few, but accrue to the people across the country.
Guyana remains an attractive investment destination. We encourage investors to continue to make investment opportunities in what is one of the fastest growing economy in the world. Until next time, I am Vivekanand Rajkumar. you.